Welcome to the MLMsuccess.com podcast, the show designed to return the network marketing industry to its roots of personal growth, leadership development, and wisdom of the ages success principles. We share with you real success stories from real people that we hope will inspire and encourage you personally and help you progress forward in your business and your life. We believe if you build people, people will build the business. Now here is your host, who has been called the number one mind in network marketing, the MLM Prophet, network marketing virtual mentor, and a host of other names that we will not mention because this is a family show. Frankly, he's just a small town guy that figured out that the real product in network marketing is people. Dale Calvert.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this session of the MLM Success podcast. This is Dale Calvert. I hope you've had an awesome week. In this session, I'm going to share with you the secret to network marketing success in the 2020s. 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 28, and so forth. And the first thing that I really need to communicate loud and clear is 100% of zero is zero. You know, you can have all the knowledge in the world, and I really sincerely believe that I'm going to share with you the secret. I'm going to give it to you in this podcast. It's a subject that I've explored yearly for many, many, many years. I'm going to share the secret with you, but knowledge without action leads to self-delusion. You know, it should really go without saying that, you know, you have to produce results in the marketplace. So, and those require skill sets and mindsets that most people do not have when they enter the profession. So that, in my mind, it should just go without saying. However, many times it doesn't. But the network marketing business model, you know, it's a business, and you have to treat it like a business. The good news is you can actually start as a side gig, you know, on a part-time basis, but you have to have a full-time mindset to give yourself a chance to win. I'm going to say that again. Most people will not tell you that. It's true. If you're going to win this game, and I mean really win, at the level that you're capable of, you have to have a full-time mindset, even if you're part-time, as we talked about in detail in session 193 of this podcast, that session was titled, There's No Such Thing as a Part-Time MLM Business. It's not a hobby. Hobbies are supposed to cost you money. Network marketing is not something you can treat as a hobby. If you want to make money on the side as a hobby, you know, do scrapbooking or do something, you know, sell scrapbooking supplies on eBay. Find another vehicle. Network marketing it's not a good spare time, part-time business. Never has been. There's many, many other business models. If you want to make a few $100 extra a month, that you should pursue. Network marketing, in my recommendation, is definitely not one of those. Joining a network marketing company is not like buying a lottery ticket. It's not the lottery. Okay, it's a business, and you have to treat it like a business, and it takes work. It's not a social club. A lot of people join network marketing because they like hanging out with entrepreneurs better than the ladies at choir practice. And that's just the truth. And if that's why you're here, you know, there's a spot and you're welcome, but to thy own self be true. Don't think just because you're hanging out with entrepreneurs that you will become one. You have to take the knowledge that you learn and implement it in the marketplace. But there is a social aspect of this that I love. I mean, some of the best friends you'll ever make in your life will come from the network marketing relationships you develop. Unfortunately, so will some of the enemies. But that's just the way it is. You have to take the yin and yang with it. Are the friendships worth the enemies? Well, I believe they are. This is not a spare time business. You must devote a set number of hours a week doing the right income generating activities. If If you haven't learned that term yet, it's a really good term to internalize. Focus on income generating activities. I don't care if you only have 5 hours a week, as long as you focus on doing the right things during those 5 hours. If somebody's told you you can build a network marketing business in your spare time, they either don't know what they're talking about or they're just simply not telling you the truth. Find me one person that ever entered this profession with the goal to make $300 a month and did it consistently for 3, 4, 5 years. Doesn't happen. Does not happen. We all talk about it. A lot of people talk about it, but it's just not true. I mean, yeah, Dale, you can do this in your spare time. Well, who has spare time today in today's world? It's the most difficult business model in the world, and only because when you enter, most people do not have the mindsets or the skill sets to progress and move forward. Most don't have them. And people attempt to try to do this business with the skill sets and mindsets that they enter the industry with. And only about 3% have what I call transferable skills. But you can do it because the skill sets and mindsets necessary for success can be internalized and developed by anyone who has the dedication and the commitment to learning. If you got the right systems and the right mentor and you're dedicated to internalize those systems, anybody can do this business. Unfortunately, in today's network marketing world, it's become a giant social club with the blind leading the blind. You don't have to have God-given talents to become successful in this profession. You don't have to be able to dunk a basketball like Michael Jordan, be able to have the athletic ability of whoever you want to name. You don't have to have that. And that's what I love about the industry. You know, when I started, I was a 20-year-old snot-nosed kid. 20 years old, living in a little 600 square foot home, driving a beat up Chevette. But I saw the opportunity. I saw the opportunity to get free, not have a boss. And I thought, man, if I could ever make $100,000 a year and not have a boss, life couldn't get any better than that. I had no idea of the adventure that I was getting ready to go on. None. But I do know, because of where I started, it doesn't matter where anybody starts. I know the attitude I had. I know the dedication I had. I know the commitment to learning that I had, and then taking what I learned into the marketplace and implementing it. And anybody that has any average person with above average desire can make this happen with the right mentorship and systems. I believe that with everything within me, if the stars have lined up, which we're going to talk about more in this session. But so many people, they look at people and they think, oh, well, they're awesome. And that's right. There's a lot of people in this business that are just phenomenal. They have natural talents and skills and communication that they do extremely well in this profession. A lot. They have transferable skills, but you can mark my words, every one of these people get to a place down the road when they realize that the majority of people on my team will never be able to do what I do. And that reality sinks in. I've watched it for 40 years. It happens continuously over and over and over. And a lot of people that can get to six figures can never get much further beyond that. They usually peak. They peak. And they have trouble down the road duplicating. So you take somebody that's never been in this profession, has no background, no experience. If they take off quickly, mark my words, you can watch it. They'll take off quickly, and down the road it stagnates, and they're never able to duplicate because they were able to take off with the transferable skills they entered the profession with. And unless they get really, really good mentorship and they really start to understand they're not the issue, duplicatable systems are, they're going to just stay in that situation for years and years. So what's the secret to network marketing success in the 2020s? Well, back in 1995, I did an audio that was called The Secret to Network Marketing Success. Again, this is a subject that I've really thought about, analyzed, looked at for many, many, many different years, many different decades. And back in 95, we did this audio. Over 500,000 of those audio cassettes were ordered and mailed all over the world. And it was responsible for engaging or even re-engaging a lot of people who had basically given up on network marketing, their network marketing dream. And the message on the tape was real simple. It was real simple. If people want what you're selling, you'll get rich. If people want what you're selling, you'll get rich. And that was a quote I had read in Success Magazine. And it was just paradigm shifting, because up until that point in my career, I had marketed a lot of products and services that people really needed. They really needed them, but they didn't want them. And I also talked about at that point that if you've never been involved in network marketing with an effective weight loss product, you've really never experienced the power of network marketing. And at that time and place in history, chromium picolinate and ephedra had entered the market. And I would argue today they're the most influential supplements to ever enter the weight loss profession, for sure. And, so the timing of when you combine weight loss and ephedra into a product, and people were actually taking 3 pills a day and losing weight, it was phenomenal. We were third in the marketplace with that product, and the rest is history. I mean, it's just history. Then a few years later, a couple of knucklehead kids, football players, each took a half a bottle of ephedra pills, and one of them ended up dying. And of course there was public outrage, and we've got to ban this and ban that. And, it's like one thing happens to one knucklehead, and I hate to call a deceased child a knucklehead, but we were all knuckleheads when we were teenagers, at least most of us. But, they don't use the product properly. It wasn't our product, thankfully. But it was an ephedra-based product, and they took too much of it, a half a bottle each, and one of them died. And then, I think that's what happened to my daughter, and there's a couple of different episodes that happened, and the government outlawed ephedra. You can't stop people from being idiots. It's really always kind of fascinated me, and I don't want to go off on this, but how hundreds of thousands of people were using the product as described and getting sincerely life-altering positive health results. People were shedding, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds or more. And, common sense will tell any of us, if you can drop that much weight, if you're carrying that much excess weight, it's probably not very healthy. So, again, I could go on and on, because it's really a pet peeve of mine how, these people, they start screaming about something, and it's like, well, it wasn't my child's fault. It's the ephedra's fault. It's the product's fault. No, your child misused the product. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. That's the bottom line. That's what happened. But again, people see things not as they are. They see things as they are. But the government ended up outlawing ephedra. And if they hadn't outlawed ephedra, there's a really good chance that I would still be in that business and probably would have never started this podcast, and definitely would not be able to share with you what I'm going to share with you today if that had not happened. So at the time it was horrific, but I've understood over the years that people cannot teach much beyond their personal level of experience and understanding, especially if they don't have faith in a great mentor. See, I was able to teach the concepts. I taught the concepts of Jim Rohn because they made a lot of sense to me before I'd really had a lot of experience implementing them, but I still understood them and they made sense. But in general, people cannot teach much beyond their personal level of experience and understanding especially if they don't have a great mentor that they have faith in. So on a side note, I ended up selling my business to another network marketing company a few years later, a couple years after all that happened. Again, we were rolling, and then all of a sudden we can't sell the product, and we had like a 60-day notice that ephedra is no longer can be sold, and ephedra was one of the main ingredients in our product at the time. And then I remember, just going in different directions. That's when I said, okay, I'm done. And I was done for a lot of other reasons, not just that particular reason. But I remember driving by a CVS drugstore, and on the signs where they post different messages out on the sign out front, this is probably 2 or 3 years after the government had banned it. It was a big sign that said, ephedra is back. Ephedra is back. So ultimately what happened, the government or some agency realized they'd made a rush to judgment, and they allowed ephedra to be sold again. And I can admit that for a moment I considered going back into the business, but by that time my focus was on other business models, and quite frankly, the profession had gotten so far away from the 4 core fundamentals on which it was founded that starting a new company was a battle that I was just not willing to fight, because everybody was screaming, how the internet's going to change network marketing, and, we're going to take the 97% failure rate and we're going to have a 97% success rate. And it was just maddening, how far away everything had gone. And it was to a point that I wasn't willing to fight it for sure, even though I was still out there in the marketplace doing seminars and working for consultants and corporate training and so on and so forth. But network marketing, training, and consulting, it's always been my bread and butter, but I've always had many different business interests. So around 2010, after we came out with the Secret cassette in 95, around 2010, I did an audio called Vanity Wealth. I believe it's still available through Amazon, and Vanity Wealth. And at the time, the population as a whole around the world was trending towards youth, major concerns about how you looking younger, and so on and so forth. So that was the trend around the world. And you saw infomercial after infomercial with various celebrities promoting different skincare products. Hair Club for Men was all over TV and radio. And there was products to come out to eliminate gray hair and all kinds of stuff. And for the record, because I get this every week, people say, Dale, what kind of hair color do you use? Honestly, I just have good genes. I don't even know what hair color is. I've never used hair color. And it's kind of crazy because my brother, who's younger than me, is gray as he can be. But I just got good genes, I guess. I don't know. And I know people don't believe it, but I tell them, just ask Don. But anyway, so that hair Club for Men, and the culture just seemed to be consumed with looking good and looking young. And at that time, you had companies like Rodan and Fields and Nerium and Beachbody and many others really scaling up quickly in the network marketing space. Jeunesse Global around this time came out with their eye cream that removed wrinkles and arguably produced the most compelling product demo video ever produced ever in this profession. However, a lot of great products in the market, but all the stars were not lined up for these companies. The Jeunesse product was knocked off by infomercial companies. And Jeunesse had their own series of challenges because, in my opinion, management, bought distributors to start with, bought a lot of distributors, did a ton of bridge deals, and it created a lot of drama down the road for them. And I could go on about all the other companies. I won't. But the moral of the story is the greatest products in the world will never create long-term success if the rest of the stars are not lined up. I cannot stress that enough. I see so many network marketers that are involved in solid companies with phenomenal products based upon good science. But the compensation plan stinks, or the ownership doesn't get it, or there's other issues. The stars have not lined up. The product star is shining bright, but it takes all the stars lining up to really fulfill your true upside potential in this profession. So anyway, again, Vanity Wealth was produced really as a prospecting tool, which basically said people don't care how healthy they are as long as they look good. So all the vitamin supplement companies out there trying to tell people they need to supplement their diet, you're fighting a losing battle right now, because based upon where the culture is at that time, people were much more concerned about how they were looking than how they were feeling. And so that was kind of the message behind that CD, and it was true at that time. People don't care how healthy they are as long as they look good. So that was Vanity Wealth. We sold hundreds of thousands of those CDs. We did a lot of bulk orders to various companies. Some were using it in their distributor kit. The rest were using it as a prospecting tool for their distributors. And at the time, the most important secret to network marketing success was promoting products that help people look good. It just was. But what I didn't stress at that time, and honestly had not really thought about much, was what about the other stars that need to line up? I mean, honestly, I didn't really get all that at that point in time. What about the other stars? And I'll talk about the other stars in a minute. But again, the main point, people cannot teach much beyond their personal level of experience and understanding, especially without great mentorship. So at that point in time, I didn't have the experience I have today. I didn't. I was sharing the most valuable information I could based upon my experience. And again, I've been a student of human development mindsets. I've been a student for my entire adult career since I've been in this business, since I entered the business world. And I study everything, and I know how to study, and I know how to focus for 90 days. And in 90 days, I can learn more about any topic I want to than most of the people walking on the planet, because I know how to do it. I focus. I eliminate all distractions, and I key in. I find who's the best mentor in the space, and I try not to have an original thought, and I just plug in. I understand how to do that. I've talked about that in many different podcasts, but it's something that I sincerely do. So what do I mean by all the stars lining up? What is the secret to network marketing success today? Well, in the midst of all the chaos happening around the world today, and this session's being recorded on the 21st of September of 2020. I know some of you might be listening to this 5 years from now. But I would ask you today, those of you that are listening during this time and place in history, what do you think? And I want you to really think about this. What do you think is the number one thing that network marketing business, the business model, can offer people today? And I mean, sincerely take a minute and think about that. What is the number one benefit the network marketing business model can offer the world today? What would your answer be? What do you think it is? And I hope you have something in your mind. Well, Dale, I think the number one benefit network marketing can offer the world today is what? What do you think? And I hope you've got something, again, in your mind. Really, take a second, quit listening to me, and think. So you have your answer? Well, I can tell you what it's not. It's not weight loss. It's not looking good. It's not personal development or high-powered nutrition or new technology. I've seen 3 or 4 new network marketing companies start with technology gizmos. It's definitely not legal services. Talked about that a couple weeks ago, or mentioned it. And it's not any network marketing product. None. I don't care how good yours is. I don't care what kind of results. I don't care if you rub these pennies and you put them in this box and it changes them to gold medallions, gold bullion. I don't care. It's definitely not crypto because the masses are not ready for crypto, anything crypto related. It's not. It's not any product. The number one thing the network marketing profession can offer today to the world, when the stars line up, the most important thing that you must be able to offer, it's financial security and stability. The real opportunity to make profit and create significant income that improves people's lives. That's the secret to network marketing today. Your opportunity. I mean, I see so many people tripping over dollars to try to make a few pennies, and they're promoting programs that pay pennies. They're promoting programs that pay pennies and a lot of these affiliate programs and on and on and on. And it makes no sense. The value of network marketing today is if you have a program that can provide financial security and stability to real families, to real people around the world, the real opportunity to make a profit and create a significant income that improves their life. That's what we have to offer the world today. In my opinion, it's always been the true mission of network marketing. It's never, in my mind, ever been about making a few $100 extra on the side. Even though that's why a lot of people join, but that's not the real benefit. It's not anything you've ever heard me talk about. I've never promoted once, make a full-time or make a little part-time income. That's never been my focus. It's not that I've never mentioned it, but it's never been my focus. You can go back 25, 30 years. There's recordings of me talking, and it's always been about the opportunity to get free, the opportunity to create total financial independence. That's what this profession is about. That was the story that was being told during the major growth period of this profession. The benefits of network marketing is it gives average people who are teachable and have above average desire the opportunity to create financial security and even financial independence and wealth. And some people will create legacy incomes that will make a huge impact for generations after they're gone. There's nothing wrong at all with the social experience of network marketing, the relationships you will develop. The personal development has always been my hot button. Honestly, I've always said network marketing is a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. It's awesome to be able to consume quality products because most companies offer way above average products over what you can buy off the shelf. And there's a lot of other awesome benefits this business model can provide for people. But the real benefit, in my opinion, always has been the opportunity to create financial independence. And I've never really swayed from that ever. However, at this point in time in history, the industry's kind of come around full circle. And if you can't talk about the financial benefits, you aren't going to attract people in today's market. You're just not. You're not going to be able to attract people. And many of you are probably thinking, well, Dale, that makes sense. I mean, I think in the situation the world's in right now, with all the uncertainty and chaos going on, that probably the number one benefit this profession can offer is financial independence. But how do we do that? How do we create that? How do we give people a game plan, a track record, a track that they can run on to make that a reality, to make that feasible? As I've referred to a couple of times already, all the stars must line up, and I'll discuss that more in just a minute. But first, let me just ask you personally. It's just me and you talking here. Let me ask you a couple questions. And as I ask them, just remember one of my favorite quotes. It seems like over the last year or so, I don't know why, but to thy own self be true. How long have you been involved in network marketing? How many years? How many months? Since you've been involved, how much money have you made? How much did you make last month? And to thy own self be true. Now, if you don't like the answer to that question, here's another one. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? And I'll give you the answer knowing that most of you will not have the faith to make the pivot if that's what's necessary. And I understand that. You're just not. You won't be able to. But maybe one or two will. And see, for me, that's where I have to stay focused. I mean, I've spent all last week trying to help friends of mine, look at the facts. You're with a company who's already peaked. That ship has sailed. Here's a chance, literally, I believe, with the people I'm talking to, with your work ethic, dedication, skill sets, here's an opportunity to become a millionaire in 5 years. And I believe that for some people, not most people, but the people I've been talking to. And it's just been amazing to me. Not really, but it is kind of amazing that some people, as I think I talked about extensively last week, don't have the ability to pivot. So I'm going to give you the secret, knowing that most of you will not have the faith to pivot. And you can never, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, I've talked to so many people and have so many conversations and presentations we're putting together. It's just, but let me just say this. You can never make a sound business decision in an emotional state of mind. And when you decide, you have a title and you have relationships, and when you decide to pivot and leave a company to do better, it's a very emotional decision for people. I mean, I've had to coach and help several people through that over the last few weeks. But here's something that, this Dale Calvert's not saying this. Einstein said it. Albert Einstein. Ignorance at its highest level is to continue to do what you've always done the way you've always done it, expecting different results. And I see so many intelligent people that are grinding it in their companies, grinding it. They join too late. They don't have the right corporate leadership that understand what it's like to be in the field. Or they're working comp plans that pay less than 40% and, total payout. They're in love with products that I'm sure are phenomenal products, but products alone will never create your full upside potential. It's an important part, but it's not the only thing. So to truly fulfill your potential, you need 4 things. You need a unique product, science-based product if possible. And if you can find a category creator. I mean, somebody was last week sending me all this, Dale, you got to see this, blah, blah, blah. And again, he's a tech guy, works in computers and software. And he was just all foaming at the mouth about this new, to me, it looked like a expensive Apple Watch. I can't remember the name of the company. It was one word. But it's like, this is an expensive Apple Watch. You know, I'm the masses here. Okay, I don't have your background, your understanding. I can buy an Apple Watch for 200 and something. This is almost 3 times that. I don't understand. And I do know that it's not going to ever appeal to the masses. It may be the coolest watch that a person could ever have on their wrist at this point in time in history, and that's awesome. But the masses don't give a flying flip about that. They don't. So the product, and to thy own self be true on the product. See, you're not the issue. You know, I have other people and said, well, Dale, I want to try the product, and if I can feel the difference, then I'm going to look at the program. And I've told them, look, you aren't the issue. I'm not the issue. Nobody's the issue. Granted, we can all hope for a solid personal experience with whatever product or service that we're dealing with in this profession, but we're really not the issue. What is the issue? It's what is the marketplace saying? What does the science say? I mean, I've said this before, but you know, when we were back in New Image and we were in the weight loss business, we had people that were over 100 pounds overweight making $250,000 a year. And they were 100 pounds overweight in the weight loss business, making $250,000 a year. Why? Because even if it didn't work for them for whatever reason, it was working for the masses in the marketplace. Enough people in the marketplace were getting results enough that it didn't matter. And the business grows away from you if you have a product that the masses can relate with. So the product is important. The compensation plan and everything we've talked about so far is probably the most important aspect of an opportunity today. Now, all of these are important. If one of these stars don't line up, you're not gonna fulfill your upside potential. But if you don't have a compensation plan that gives people the opportunity to make profits fairly quickly, in today's marketing world, you're just cooked in the squat. You're cooked before you start. The third thing is ownership. What's their paradigm? Where are they coming from? And then the fourth, and something that most people will never talk about, but in my opinion, it's critical, and that is proven, sequential, unified, duplicatable systems. Systems duplicate, personality doesn't. Systems duplicate, personality doesn't. So you have to have all 4 of the stars lining up if you think you're going to reach your full upside potential in this profession. So that's what I mean by the stars lining up. You can have 2 or 3 and have a really good opportunity, but it's not going to continue to feed your great-grandchildren and create legacy income and financial independence many times for most people if you don't have all 4 in place. In today's world, especially, all the stars have to line up. So the secret to network marketing success in the 2020s and beyond is you have to provide a real opportunity that allows people to create profits in a reasonable period of time. I believe experienced network marketers should be making profits immediately, and newbies at least within 90 days. Within 30 days, if you're experienced, and if not, a brand new person who has no background in this profession at all should be able to enter your program, and you should be able to give them a launch formula to get their business launched, a clear path to customer acquisition that will get them customers, and within 90 days, they need to be in profit. And if you're not doing that and your opportunity does not provide that, you're in the wrong opportunity. You're in the wrong opportunity. If you don't have the systems in place to help new people create a clear path to customer acquisition and profits within 90 days, you're in the wrong opportunity. So that's the 4 ways to make it happen. and to ensure that the stars are lining up for you. Again, we talked about the products. We've talked about compensation plan. I mean, sincerely, the work is the same. The work is the same. Why would you work for 30, 35, 40% when you could have a 63% return? I've asked that question to multiple people in the last 30 days. So the product, the comp plan, the company, and then the most important thing, in my opinion, and the thing that I am just such a stickler on, is the team culture. And the problem with network marketing, and I'll say this, and I really mean it. People don't think I mean it, but some know I do. The only reason to sponsor someone is to eliminate them as soon as possible. That's it. That's it. And if they want to do it on their own, and see, I heard leaders, in the last week or so say, well, everybody does this differently, and you got to find your niche. You got to find your 3 or 4 ways where you can create and it's like that thinking is mainstream in this profession all over the place. Everywhere I turn, I hear it constantly, and it's just not true. Can you imagine bringing somebody into your McDonald's franchise and say, you're in charge of fixing the Big Macs, and just figure out your best way to make your Big Mac, however you want to do it. Find 3 or 4 ways that work for you. Why do businesses work? Why do they duplicate? Because of the systems that are in place. I'm not going to hire you if I owned a Home Depot and I need 4 new managers. I'm not going to hire 4 new managers and say, you're in charge of tools, you're in charge of wood, you're in charge of outdoor, and just do whatever you want to do. Figure it out. Make the sales. Figure out what it's not the way the real world works. Systems, sequential systems, homegrown leaders, internal. That's what makes the difference. And it's amazing. I mean, my mind, I've watched it for 30 years, but it still today, it continues to blow my mind of that thought process and how mainstream it is with good people. The good people, really good people that want to help people, want to support them, want to encourage them. But you've got to provide the track record, the sequential systems for them to master so they can turn around and teach other people. So those are the 4 things. Those of you that listen to this podcast regularly, you know that about 7 weeks ago, I had talked, maybe 8 weeks, it hadn't been 8 weeks yet, but I talked to a broker. Many of you know, Don and I are involved in multiple businesses, we've bought 4 this year. In 20 years, I've never seen the 4 stars line up. I mean, I haven't. And I've seen companies that had the potential for the stars to line up, and there's a lot of them in the marketplace today. But anyway, I was out. I'm liquidating my intellectual property and my websites, and I just want to do other things. And, I'll probably still do the podcast maybe. I was kind of I wasn't sure which direction I was going, but it was like I need to phase out because we've got these other businesses that we're really fired up about, and they're growing and they're doing well. And I can buy and build up and flip businesses, online businesses, and make significant income. And bottom line, it was like I was asking myself, how can I add $5 million to my net worth in 5 years? That was the question I was asking. And there was nothing in network marketing that I could see that would provide that. Again, because what I believe and what I teach is based upon our personal track record, but it's not mainstream. Most people are just trying to entertain people and keep them on auto ship one more month. And I don't believe in that. I believe in being real with people, being straight with people, and saying, look, this is not an easy business, but it's worth it. it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. But you're going to have to expand your comfort zone. You know, I'm not going to high five you because your mama finally bought the product after you've been around for 2 years. I don't play those games. So I was just tired of the whole cultures surrounding the profession, honestly. Just, you know, just watching companies it's just been amazing to me, really. I mean, at a level that I can't even begin to try to communicate. So I told Don, I said, you know, I think this is what we need to do. And then, you know, this company lands in my lap and it's like, okay, I'll find the red flag real quick. And I look and kept looking. And it's like, well, this is, you know, maybe this, maybe that. And I couldn't find any red flags. And they have a category creating product, $40 auto ship. People don't have to come up with $180 or $230 to qualify for anything. Auto ship starts at $40. Compensation plan is honestly the best I have ever seen in 40 years. Not because it pays out 63%, which is more than any other company out there. It's not the payout, it's the way it's paid out. It's genius. Ownership that understand what it means to be in the field because he started as a distributor when he was 17. I mean, so when you look at star 1, product check, star 2, compensation plan, triple check, ownership, you know, I can't say enough about what I've seen with ownership and where he's coming from. And then, you know, as far as sequential unified duplicatable systems, everything I believe in, the compensation plan is congruent with the training that needs to be done to develop help people become all they can become and maximize their upside potential. I mean, all the stars are lined up, but I probably still wouldn't have gotten involved if not for the fact, and this is, if it'd been a U.S. startup, I know I wouldn't have gotten involved because I had foot already out the door. But the fact that it was an 8-year-old European company with a proven track record that had just launched ground floor in the United States. So I say that just to say, if you're looking, you can go check out, what is it? www.aplgousa.com and myself, or you can fill out the form there, watch the couple of videos. If it makes sense for you, then myself or somebody on our team will contact you after you fill out the form on the page. But, and if not, you know, if you have a company and literally, sincerely, honestly, all the stars are lining up, then you got to pour it on. And when you're in the marketplace, you know, you can have a phenomenal product, but understand in today's marketing environment, the secret, the absolute secret to network marketing success is you have to have a game plan to help people make a significant difference in their finances within, you know, and that has to start within 90 days. And if they're willing to do their part, and again, half the people are, you know, they join and then they just sit there. But if they're willing to do their part and they're willing to take action and they're willing to be teachable and they're willing to do the follow-ups and devote the time and everything that we all know is necessary to build a real business. And when you find people that are willing to do that, then within 90 days, they have to be profitable and they have to have a huge upside potential. You know, the opportunity to sincerely create financial independence within 3 to 5 years. That needs to be ahead of them. And that needs to be realistic. And you need to provide have a compensation plan and the other 3 stars that we've talked about that will give that opportunity to the right people. And if you have that, the separation between those that do and those that don't is just going to get wider and wider and wider in the future. That's why you're going to continue to see companies merge with other companies, 2 struggling companies merge. You know what you have? 1 big struggling company Why? Because all the stars aren't lining up. So, that's why you see right now companies, desperately seeking new products and services that they can add to their product line so that they can take them to the marketplace? No, so they can sell them to their distributors. A lot of disruption going on right now around the world and in the industry. But I truly believe that the right network marketing companies with the stars lined up has a lot of the answers that the world is desperately seeking. And I hope you'll be part of the solution, not the problem. Part of the solution, not the problem. And the way you become part of the solution if you're an experienced network marketing is get with a company that has all the 4 stars lined up. Hope this helped you guys. I hope it made sense. Thanks for being here. This is Dale Calvert. We'll talk with you again on the next session of the MLMsuccess.com podcast.
If you haven't gone over to iTunes yet and rated and left this podcast a review, what are you waiting for? At Calvert Marketing Group, we want to spend our time on the projects that we know are providing the most value for our clients and customers. You leaving us a review and feedback on iTunes is something that helps us more than you realize. And more importantly, it helps others like you find us. So if you've not taken the time to rate this podcast, please go over to iTunes and do that for us now. It will only take a couple of minutes out of your busy schedule. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and we will be back next week with another inspiring success story, wisdom of the ages training, or answers to your questions.